Good morning and welcome to another episode of Josh and Pat. I'm Joshua Klein, joined by Patrick Cassidy. And after 6 weeks of recovery, waiting, resting, NASCAR star Chase Elliot is back to snowboarding. Patrick, after making a quick recovery, Chase Elliot is finally able to hit the slopes again. What does this mean for Chase, and what does this mean for the sport of NASCAR?
Not only is Chase Elliott back, NASCAR's back, and mustaches are back this week. He comes out of hibernation after the snowboarding incident, and boom, he's got a mustache. He's ready to roll. If there's anything I know about NASCAR, it's that if you have a mustache, that's instantly at least 5 positions better.
5 positions better at least. And it is very interesting that snowboarding not off the table per Chase Elliott, per the Pat McAfee show. And to be honest with you, I'm all for not quitting your hobbies. I'm all for saying, hey, I'm going to continue to do what I enjoy. That being said, I'm sure Rick Hendrick really loved to hear that after his star driver was not in the car for 6 whole weeks.
Well, yeah, because if I'm Rick Hendrick, I look at it and I go, hey, Chase, like I pay you to drive the car. And if you can't drive the car, like, what am I paying? Like, I don't pay you to snowboard. But I'm with you, Josh. If I'm Chase Elliott, what happens when you fall off a bike? You get back on it and you pedal again. The snowboard, look, he said this was not a Chase Elliott problem. He went on the Pat McAfee show. He said, look, just the knee just kind of gave out. He said the knee just wasn't having it.
Could have happened doing anything. Could have happened walking from the garage, to the pits.
It could have happened hopping out of the car. And then if so, what's that?
Yeah, exactly. Then it's a whole different conversation. Yeah, I think, though, to be determined how he'll do. Has a win at Martinsville a couple years ago. Arguably he's in a must-win situation. He's got to win at some point over the next 30 whatever weeks.
20
whatever weeks.
Well, really probably like 17 now. After
17 whatever weeks.
He's got to win.
He's got to win. And so we'll see what happens. We're happy you're back, Chase. It's good for the sport.
Josh, and I just want to say we stand with the Pat McAfee show. We support charity. So therefore, I think we both have to support a Chase Elliott win this weekend.
So let's get into our picks. Patrick, are you picking Chase Elliott to win?
How can I not pick Chase Elliott? I'm actually picking snowboarder Chase Elliott to win driving. Athlete. He's a multi-sport athlete. It's Bo Jackson, Michael Jordan, Chase Elliott.
Yeah. In the conversation, absolutely. I'm going to pick a guy, Patrick, who he's due. Okay. Now, he had a little bit of hiccup last week. Some would say that was a inexperienced crew chief. Some would say that was just circumstance, because it wasn't the driver's fault necessarily.
It's never the driver's fault.
I'm going here. I'm going to go a pick. I think going to have a bounce back week. I'm going to go Kyle Larson.
Kyle Larson. That's it. Look, we're going with the Hendrick sweep here.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the smartest picks you have to make. Martinsville. We'll see what happens. Moving on to the NFL, the Commanders officially sold to the Harris Group, featuring Magic Johnson. I, for one, am actually not happy about this, Patrick.
Really?
Everyone is celebrating. They're saying, Dan Snyder, out of the league. They're saying, hey, guess what? We did it. We brought in more money to the sport. And I get all that. I do. That being said, there's nothing I enjoy more than a franchise that's not my franchise being miserable and sucking forever. And so Dan Snyder being terrible and making the Commanders terrible, I'm not saying the suffering of Commanders fans brought me joy. I'm just saying that them being bad and them sucking and them having terrible management didn't make my life worse.
From a content perspective, it certainly added storylines. That being said, I'm happy for all of those people that hated Dan Snyder, that had to work with Dan Snyder, that were fans of the Commanders. That really sucked for them.
Are there any Commanders
But
fans though? I'd argue
there
there's
is
more
no
Washington
Commanders
football
fans.
fans than there are Commanders fans.
Yeah, I think there is more. There is more team fans than Commanders fans. But Josh, I think we have to wonder: is this Harris group good? We know Dan Snyder has set the baseline so low that it's almost impossible to be worse than him.
Yeah.
But are we sure this Harris guy is a good owner?
Well, here's what I'm going to say about this, Patrick. It's kind of fishy. So he owns a Philadelphia team.
Which is that.
And now he owns a Washington team. Hey, I don't
Josh,
know if you know, I don't know if you know this, buddy, that the Philadelphia city is not a like city in the Washington city because the Washington city has to play the Philadelphia city twice a year.
They don't like each other.
They don't like each other. So as soon as I saw that, immediately red flag. So this guy clearly he doesn't care. Does he not care about Washington or does he not care about Philly? Because it seems to me like he doesn't care about one of those cities.
Well, Josh, he also has a team outside of New York City.
Yeah, so
the New Jersey Devils.
Oh,
does he not?
Okay, so that's just, full sweep there.
Yeah. So, does he not care about Washington? Does he not care about Philly? Does he not care about the New York City area? Or does he just not care about sports at all?
Man, I don't know at all. And that's the kind of guy you want. So you get this guy who comes in, and sure, you might be thinking, oh, maybe he's businessman. He's a better businessman than Dan Snyder. Great.
Right.
Does he care about this team? Because it seems to me like he couldn't give a crap about football or sports. Another thing I want to say is, if there ever was a group that's going to take off every single owner in the NFL, it's this group right here, because a lot of talks are coming in about, oh, well, they're going to come in fresh money. Maybe they spend all that fresh money and pay a fully guaranteed contract to a quarterback named Lamar Jackson, who would immediately then bring a lot of eyeballs and fans to that said team. And I go, whoa. You're telling me this is the worst possible move that these owners could make. The first move that they make as an ownership group would be the move that every single owner prior to them being an owner was standing in solidarity to not do something.
Well,
that's
Josh,
that's the classic, new kid comes, does everything wrong.
Josh, in all fairness, you're bringing in Magic Johnson. He's used to those little guaranteed deals. They're handing out money left and right in the NBA. He goes, well, this is just how business goes. So now he's going to he's going to give a super max deal to Lamar Jackson. And all he's going to ask for is just mid-level play in return. We see what Bradley Beal gets. Lamar Jackson can certainly get something in that ballpark, right?
Well, now imagine this, though. Imagine they do that. Then every single team goes, okay, well, if that's how you guys are going to do business, we're good. We're never trading with you. Good luck. And then all of a sudden, new owner is worse than Dan Snyder. Because at least the other owners, they may have hated Dan Snyder, but they're like, yeah, whatever. He's a scumbag, but he does things the way we do things.
Maybe it's not a silver lining here for the Commanders.
The biggest red flag is the Philadelphia thing. And I don't think enough people are talking about it. Why is this the first sports show that I feel like we're bringing this up?
There should be something illegal. Washington, Philly, they don't get along.
Yeah.
Think about it. Washington stole the capital from Philadelphia all the way back in the day. It's a rivalry that dates over 200 years. And now all of a sudden we're going to throw it out the window?
Yeah, that's poor taste by Harris Group. And I bet you Dan Snyder, when he looked at all the bidders, he said, you know what? I'm going to choose this guy, because if there's one situation that's the worst situation for this future franchise, which that also makes me a bunch of money, it's this one.
I also just want to throw out that, Dan Snyder he won the $6 billion. He gets the $6.05 billion.
So basically, essentially meaning he profited $6 billion.
He profits the $6 billion. But I just want to shout out to that $500,000 for really setting that offer over the top. That's what Snyder needed. He feels comfortable with that. $6 billion, but that extra $500,000.
The 6 point. Yeah, that's the number. That's the number. So shout out Dan. moving on, the draft coming up a couple weeks here. My most anticipated draft ever as an NFL.
It's kind of sneaking up on
as
us,
a fan,
Josh.
sneaking up on us, but not really because we've been talking about it for like 5 months. So
I mean, we're experts. We're experts.
yeah,
I mean, that's
exactly.
professional show.
Bryce Young, or no, so per Adam Schefter, Bryce Young meeting with the Texans is a waste of time.
A waste
now,
of time.
There's a couple of things that this could mean. One, it means that Bryce Young's going number one. There's no doubt in anybody's mind.
And I think that's what Shefty's alluding to.
That Bryce Young will be a Panther. Option number 2 is there's been some reports that Texas is not 100% sold on having the second pick. They're thinking about potentially trading out of the second pick. Now, that also could just be because they only like Bryce Young, and Bryce Young's definitely going to go number 1. So it could be the same reason, just 2 different ways. But I mean, if you're a Texas fan and a Texans fan, I don't know how you could be happy about hearing this.
Well, it's a tough time to be a Houston fan, right? I mean, the Rockets are bad, the Roughnecks are bad.
Hey, whoa! Did we lose this week? No, we haven't played this week. We won last week in an overtime thriller.
What a fan you are!
Because sometimes I forget because it's Friday, and I think it's a Friday or Monday show.
Well, you never, and that's the thing with the XFL. You never,
and
know
then you never know because if it's a Thursday game, yeah. Sometimes these games they catch you, they get me by surprise, and so then I got to sometimes say, no, they haven't played since last Sunday. Yeah,
I think. Look, and I know that we've gotten a trade for the number 1 pick. I know that we swapped. We know that the Panthers are there now. But Josh, I feel like there's a blockbuster move that's going to happen that just hasn't happened yet. And that Texans number 2 pick would be a huge shockwave.
If somebody's really high on CJ Stroud and it doesn't feel like the Texans, I guess, because they're potentially thinking about trading out, maybe testing the waters, maybe they're not that high on CJ Stroud, and maybe somebody who is swoops in there. I'm very curious to see how it plays out, but I don't know. In my heart, Texans are taking somebody there, and it's probably going to be a quarterback. I feel like a lot of this is just, smoke and mirrors. But Bryce Young scored 98 on the S2 cognitive test.
I mean,
very high. And hey, shout out Bryce. And if you're the Texans, you're telling me you're not going to meet with him for the potential chance that maybe the Panthers slip up, get the wrong guy?
I mean, and the thing is you're talking about proven guys in this league that have scored really high scores that Bryce Young has scored over. I mean, we're talking about guys, Josh Allen. I mean, we see the number of playoff wins that he has.
Yeah.
We see Justin Fields, the number of playoff appearances that he has.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're in a really good group of people to score a high score on this S2 cognitive test, and Bryce Young is showing out. Who cares if he's a little bit undersized?
Who cares?
He might be your number 1 pick. Who cares? Because if you score a 98 on the S2 cognitive test, results show that you're in company with guys that, I mean, you may be a 5-time Super Bowl winner.
Yeah. How do I find a list of people what their S2 cognitive test was?
I don't think that's really too public.
Then how do we know he got a 98?
Yeah, I'm assuming the agent leaks it.
That's why I can't find Lamar's.
Did Lamar even take it?
That's a great question. We'll never know. Probably never know. Anyway.
But if I have to guess with the playoff success that those other 2 quarterbacks have had, Lamar's right up there.
Oh, gotta be. 98, 99, maybe 97, depending on the day. Sometimes you come into the test day and you may have studied, you may know the stuff, but sometimes that's not your day,
Well, right. And they tell you it's all about the breakfast. Well, it's like, is it really? Because it's like,
yeah, it's like, but also he completely forgot. He kind of forgot he had testing day. So the only things he had for breakfast, like in his, cupboard, were like, like Fruity Pebbles or something. And so it's like, sure, yeah, you get a little spike of sugar, but then halfway through the test, you're going to kind of crash a little bit.
And you never know. You're walking in, and you don't know if it's going to be an online test. You don't know if it's going to be a paper and pencil test because it's different. It's
you were told by somebody that you were allowed to have a calculator And so you went into the test preparing to have a calculator, and you would have been fine if you studied without the calculator, but because you studied with the calculator, you go in, oh, can't use calculators, then now you're all thrown off.
And then all of a sudden they're like, no, it's not a number 2 pencil. You got to have a number 1 pencil. And you're like, well, do they even make those anymore?
Where do I find a number 1 pencil?
Right.
It's like,
and it's like,
that's
so are
the
you
original?
providing the pencils?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a tough.
OBJ played without an ACL for like half a season.
I don't know what that means.
Is that even
Josh.
possible, Patrick?
I think in solidarity, this is what's going to happen. I think if Odell Beckham Jr. wins a Super Bowl with the Ravens, I say we go on an ACL strike, an ACL boycott, and we decide to do the show without an ACL.
Yeah. From here on out, I agree. If Odell Beckham Jr. and the Ravens win a Super Bowl, I mean, what at that point? Listen, I've heard a torn ACL. Like I've seen athletes collapse. I've seen people not be able to walk, and then but then all of a sudden, now I'm questioning what does the ACL even do, and do we even need it in the first place? And if you were able to play half a season without one, what you telling me? Why can't we just remove them?
Argue.
Hey, if we just remove all ACLs, there's nothing to tear. You can play forever.
Yeah, but then how did he tear his ACL if he didn't have an ACL?
That's a great point.
Like, how's that possible? How can you tear an ACL if you don't have an ACL? I would argue, because here's the thing, is that was the middle of the 2021 season, right?
Yeah.
He then gets traded. Well, not traded. He signs with the Rams. And then he goes off without an ACL. So I would argue being in the city of Cleveland was more detrimental than Odell Beckham Jr. than having half of his knee.
Patrick, that's a really reasonable take.
Like, think about it. He was way worse with a full knee in Cleveland than he was with half a knee in LA.
Patrick, you're making some really compelling points right now. Yeah, I agree. I mean, clearly, I still don't necessarily 100% know what an ACL is after all these years, and at this point, I'm kind of too scared to ask. But
do you ever walk around, or like maybe you went for a run, or like you're doing something athletic, and then like something in your knee just it's not even a flare up, it's like something extremely minor, and you go, oh, I wonder if that's the ACL.
Yeah, it's like, what is down there? What ligaments and muscles are working right now?
At what point does it turn into the MCL?
Yeah, that's right, because the MCL is down there too, and there's like both. There's two things: ACL, MCL. Everything I hear is ACL is worse than MCL if you don't have one.
Right, because they always go, look, sprained MCL is much better. Like, that's the best outcome.
Yeah. So who knows? Who knows? Hey, good for OBJ. Hopefully, now that you have a full ACL. I mean, if that was you without an ACL.
Well, did he opt to get the ACL back?
Oh yeah. Where do you get one of those? You have to get a donor.
I don't know. That's a great.
Who do you think is a specimen, enough of an athletic specimen to give their ACL to Odell Beckham Jr.? And if they're that much of an athletic specimen to be able to give their ACL, you would think they would need their ACL, unless we're going like just retired athlete, maybe like did J.J. Watt give his ACL to Odell Beckham Jr.?
Possible, not probable, but it could be possible, because Josh, the other thing is if. But
does the ACL go bad? Like, does it age? Because then you could go, if you expand it, you can get like Deion Sanders ACL maybe.
Well, right, but isn't it like an artificial ACL? Is it even a real person's ACL? And then at that point,
is that performance enhancement?
Enhancing?
Yeah, so Odell Beckham Jr. potentially performance enhancing, not drugs, but body parts. Yeah, parts.
Yeah.
PEP.
Yeah, he's working on those PEPs. And look, if he lights the league on fire this year, I think there could be some people that are skeptical. Ooh. Maybe is there a PEP ban upcoming in the NFL?
Did Odell Beckham Jr. need so much for his contract because PEPs are expensive?
Well, and not only that, is there going to be a PEP fine? Does he have to cover some fines in there? Because
all questions, Josh, that we'll have answered hopefully soon.
All I know is he and his kid were very happy at the introductory press conference. And you know what? Good for them.
Good for them. Shout out OBJ. Moving on to the NBA. The playoffs are here.
No.
Kinda. They're still. Are the playing games not the playoffs? We should just call
playing games are not the playoffs.
It seems like that's the playoffs.
But it's not. When you lose, it's quite literally the opposite of the playoffs.
Patrick, when you lose, do you get eliminated?
No. Well,
then when you lose, okay. So when you lose, Patrick, multiple games, do you get eliminated?
Well, sometimes you don't get the opportunity to lose multiple games.
If you lose,
there's no clear cut answer.
Yeah, Patrick, it's a playoff. It's basically the playoff.
No, it's not. It's literally called. What is the opposite of?
Oh, playoff. Play in is the opposite of playoff. Yeah.
Yes, it's literally quite the opposite.
Okay, so it seems to me then like playoffs are not here. They're almost here, but Rudy Gobert back tonight, and I'll tell you what, Patrick. That surprised me, but it doesn't really matter because he wouldn't have been able to play for the Lakers anyway. Is what he said. He's like, listen, it's probably worked out for the best, honestly, because I wasn't even going to be able to be healthy enough to play against the Lakers. And then now Rudy Gobert's back. They might be able to sneak their way in to the playoffs, and maybe he's going to get that revenge tour against the Lakers potentially.
Well, I mean, we're going to be very clear here. I mean, Rudy Gobert, he gets the 1-game suspension, but he wasn't going to play. Josh, he wasn't going to play anywhere, was not healthy enough. This is the classic case of, no, you're not firing me, I'm quitting. And he just turned it into the suspension. So, hey, shout out to Rudy. He's always working, trying to find some new ways to do things, and somehow he's back.
He's back. He's back, baby. Patrick, I mean, what are we thinking here? We thinking that definitely for sure it's going to be the people who are going to win tonight have to be the Bulls, right? Even though
the Bulls and the Thunder.
DeMar DeRozan.
I'm worried about this, Josh.
His daughter single-handedly allowed the Chicago Bulls to potentially win that game because defensive weapon. Every single time that they were playing, who were they playing at the time?
They were playing the Raptors.
Every time they were playing the Raptors.
I know, different country too.
Raptors player goes to shoot free throw. DeMar DeRozan daughter scream. Raptors shot 50%.
Yep.
From the free throw, and so now, allegedly, she's not going to be there. Because she's got school.
And this,
and then you go to you point to the school system and you go, what kind of school system do we have right now that when such a high stakes are on the lines, we're not teaching our kids to step up to the big moments?
Yeah, this is arguably her game of her life here on a Friday night, Josh. And that's the thing. You're telling me you can't find this girl a plane from Chicago to Miami? Even after school, I'm talking, let's just get an early dismissal. I don't need her to miss the whole game. Let's get her an early dismissal, get her out 1:00, fly her down to Miami, and then start screaming at Jimmy Butler because she clearly was a difference maker. If she could do it in the cold weather of Toronto, Canada, think about what she can do down in South Beach, Miami.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's crazy. So, Patrick, my official predictions, Bulls beat the Heat.
Bulls Thunder.
And then Timberwolves beat the Thunder.
I got Bulls Thunder.
Okay, well, that's great. That's great, bud. Shout out Jimmy Butler and shout out all those players on those teams. I could care less about the playing game. So we're going to move on. But DeMar DeRozan, be a better dad. Take your kid out of school. Let her
just
play.
Early dismissal.
Let her
We're not asking for a full absence.
Yeah. And if you need to, just pull I'm not feeling too well,
Yes, that's a classic because how are you going to get mad at a kid being like, I'm sorry, I don't feel good?
Exactly. Boom. Bingo. Also, let's see here in the NBA playoffs. Moving on. MLB. Patrick, an alarming stat has been brought to my desk.
Yes.
If the MLB playoffs happen today, the Yankees would only be a wild card.
How is that possible, Josh? I thought they brought their captain back, Aaron Judge. I thought he was supposed to lead them to the promised lands. They're telling me this is the 5th year of Aaron Boone, your manager. How can you not make a World Series? It's unprecedented for the Yankees. But here we are. They would only be a wild card team, Josh.
And it's like, do they have enough time to put themselves in a position, to not be a wild card team?
Well, if we know anything right now, we know that the Tampa Bay Rays are never going to lose a game. So now you're constantly chasing the unprecedented, the impossible that is now turned possible.
Yeah.
The Yankees are screwed. The Yankees are done. They are not going to win the division now because simply they lose too many games. If there's anything that we've learned this far into the season, it's that 13-0 is 100% undefeated.
If something happens 100% of the time, so there's no precedent for me to say that it's not going to continue to happen that way. Okay, so Rays, they win out. Yankees, I mean, if you lose lose 5 times for every 13 games you play,
Josh, they're only 61% winning.
That's not good. That's not 100%.
How can you?
So,
100%, 61%.
Big difference. Yeah, I think the Yankees are screwed. And good luck, Yankees. I hope you can get enough juice balls to get Aaron Judge to put you guys over the top.
They play in a high school.
It's too late. It's too late.
Look, so you're going to bring in juice balls for Aaron Judge now. You're going to have all the spider attack in the world for Garrett Cole. You play in a high school park so small. No wonder Aaron Judge can use the juice balls to his advantage. How far will the Yankees go to try to make this leap? I just know 61%.
Patrick,
is not
all I know is
right.
that even if they win out, it's too late.
It's too late.
I don't think they have enough time.
There's not enough time left for these Yankees.
Well, hey, shout out Yankees. There's always next year.
Yes.
Always.
Hey, just give Aaron Boone one more year. One more year. Just give him one more year.
One more year. Orioles having a rather disappointing season.
7-6 though. I'll take it.
We would have prayed for time. We used to pray for times like these. But now I'm greedy. I'm not satisfied.
No, we look, and Josh, we know we're not playing to the level of expectation we can, but we're happy that we're still winning ball games. And so, unlike the Yankees, we still have plenty of time. We can.
Yeah, there's time.
There's plenty of time for us. So we can straighten.
Dope. Also, big news out of the NCAA. The Cavendier twins to the WNBA.
No.
I mean, to the WWE. They both start with W. It can be confusing. So the exact opposite of the WNBA, potentially WWE. Cavendier twins, not official. Now, I've been following this. I've been tracking this for a month. Okay.
Josh is ahead of the game in this stuff.
Cavendier twins go on the BFFs podcast of Barstool.
Yes.
And they announce, hey, we're toying with WWE. They say, probably not, because I think Haley, she's the really good one, right? They're both great. She's the
Hannah, Haley.
The one that's really good. She was like, I'm coming back, I think, to Miami.
They had a year left.
And so then, and the other one was like, I don't really see him. This is not a situation where I think I can play another year in Miami. I'm thinking I'm probably going to try to find another school to play for. So that was what everyone thought. But now all of a sudden it's like, we're not going to be coming back to Miami. We might just go straight to the WWE, which would be, genius move. You got to strike while the iron's hot. What if they go out there next year and suck and then nobody cares about the Cavendier twins? But guess what? If you go straight from this momentum to WWE, they're going to force you to care about them. I think this is a great move.
Not only, they've got their influencer status, and then WWE brings them to another level.
WWE puts you more. It can put you, if you play it right, on a mainstream path to be like potentially, an A-lister is if you do it right.
Yeah, because if anything, we've been proven by John Cena, The Rock.
The Rock.
Look, I mean, an acting career is ahead of them.
Seems to me. Now they got to be good because there's people in the WWE who aren't good sometimes. And I'm a casual WWE fan. I'll show up when the matches I want to see are on. You know, but there's some people out there who I don't think bring it. And hopefully they can do it. I believe in them.
Hey, shout out to them.
Shout out to the Kevin Deere twins.
They have retired from the game of basketball. They brought Miami a Elite Eight, and now they move on to the UFC, WWE, because it's the same thing now.
Yeah. Speaking of women's basketball, you see Shaq said that
no.
He said Angel Reese, greatest athlete to ever come from LSU.
LSU. I did see that. Look, here's the thing.
And
I love Angel Reese.
We love Angel Reese.
She's a Maryland girl. We love her brother plays for Maryland still. Like we love Angel Reese. She's great. I think she's great for women's basketball. I'd say let's let her leave the school before we crown her the best. Like if you want to sit down and have this conversation in 2 years, let's have it. If she wins 3 national championships, let's have it. But
I mean, if she has a better career than Shaquille O'Neal and Odell Beckham Jr.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Joe
That's all Joe Burrow. I mean, that's
so if she's better than them, then absolutely all for having that conversation. That's like me going, hey, Bryce Young, greatest athlete to ever come from Alabama.
I mean, proven. I mean, what, number 1 pick?
Yeah, but she's not even projected to be the number 1 pick in the draft.
Because she's not in the draft.
No, next year. So next year's draft is predicted Caitlin Clark 1, Paige
Beckers. Paige Beckers is awesome. Wait until she comes back from the ACL.
I know. She's legit. She can shoot.
Like Josh. Like
she might be the number 1 pick.
Everybody fell in love with Caitlin Clark because it was like she was just putting up points every night. Like people forget about Paige Beckers because she's missed most of the last 2 seasons.
Paige is like Paige ran so that Caitlin Clark could run as well.
Exactly.
And I don't know if we know that Caitlin Clark is going to be number 1 pick overall. That's how high I view Paige Beckers.
Beckers, she's great.
And so,
it's like, but Josh, if I'm a WNBA scout and I'm looking at Angel Reese and she goes back to back, it's like, does that rise up the board?
I don't know. I mean, sure.
Does her play translate to the WNBA? I don't know.
It's just the problem is that Caitlin Clark and Paige, Caitlin Clark single-handedly put that team on the map.
She was also their whole offense.
She was everything, right?
Yeah.
Paige is very similar play style that I think is
similar, but isn't the whole team, but it's just a notch below that.
Yeah, these are just talents. I don't know. And like I said, I love Angel Reese. I think top 3 pick for sure from what I've seen of the field. That being said,
and she might go back to back.
And she might go back to back. She's very good. I wouldn't be surprised. Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers just seems like, in my brain, the easy number 2. And you also have to think, I mean, Iowa might have a crazy recruiting class.
You might put it together. They go, hey, this is Caitlin's last run.
Yeah.
This is the last dance.
I mean, they might be back as well. So who knows what's going to happen with that? I'm actually is it crazy times in sports? I'm going to be curious to see what happens in college women's basketball.
Which is good. It's good that it's great that we've gotten to that point. That
this conversation is not a forced conversation at all. This is that. I was
I'm genuinely interested in seeing Paige Beckers come back. I don't know when the last time that you
her
had
high school highlights were nasty.
But I don't know when the last time you had 3 of these recognizable
names. I'd argue I can name more people in women's college basketball right now than I can in the WNBA, and that's not a knock at the WNBA. I never had a chance. I never really followed you guys, but this is just. I mean, I'm gonna know 3 people in the WNBA in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
So good. Hey, good for women's sports. Anyway, guys, that's the show. If you're still listening at this point, make sure you guys give us 5 stars on any podcast platform. But also, more importantly, don't click off. You guys can DM us at Picks and Pancakes. And
Direct
not
message.
only will you get a free mug, you will also get this $10 McDonald's gift card, which
That's
you can
enough
use
to
to
get you like a
buy
meal.
pretty much anything. You can get, hey, maybe I want like 2 cheeseburgers and a McFlurry, maybe a small fry. You can get
Maybe like 2 Happy Meals. Like,
yeah,
boom.
2 Happy Meals, boom. Hey, yeah, maybe you got a family you want to, hey, maybe this is just like a morning coffee run for a couple days. It could be anything you want.
Could be a late
it to
night
be.
snack. Could be a late night snack. A couple nights.
Sometimes you got this 24-hour McDonald's. You just go anytime of the day.
Yeah, you might not be able to go inside, but maybe the drive-thru's open.
Drive-thru's
I mean, it
probably
still
open.
works.
And then, hey, maybe you're hanging out with a friend, and so you listen to some music in like the parking lot, and just eat some snacks. That sounds like a great night. DM us. That all could be yours. Also, make sure you guys go to our website at picksandpancakes.com to read about everything that's happening in sports. And as always, we'll see you Monday. A peace. Have a great weekend. Did I ruin it? I think I might have ruined it. Have a great weekend. A peace. Peace.